And so let's bring in MSNBC chief legal correspondent, host of The Beat, Ari Melber, outside the courthouse. Ari, just in the last few minutes, to Danny's point just now about tying it into the election, Hoffinger has asked what the payment related to, and he said, Cohen said, that related to my participation with AMI in the Karen McDougal matter. Hoffinger says, what was your purpose of your working with AMI to pay off Karen McDougal? And Cohen says, in order to ensure that Mr. Trump is protected and that the story would never be released, for the purpose of ensuring that it also didn't affect the presidential campaign. Hoffinger says, did you work with AMI to do that in order to influence the 2016 campaign? That's sustained, objection sustained. Why did you work with AMI to pay off Karen McDougal? It was obviously a leading question. Cohen says, in order to ensure that the possibility of Mr. Trump succeeding in the election, that this would not be a hindrance. Hoffinger says, and at whose direction, on whose behalf did you work with AMI to do that? I worked with Dylan Howard, David Pecker, Rothstein. Hoffinger, at whose direction and on whose behalf? At the direction of Donald J. Trump. And to whose benefit? For the benefit of Donald J. Trump. So, and that's when the juror instruction comes. So all of that is trying to tie together that even though Cohen didn't pay the money for AMI, that didn't come from him, that was all, as was, what obviously happened with Stormy Daniels, that was all for the benefit of Donald Trump. Have they made that case, and have they, do you think, made it strongly enough to overwhelm whatever is going to happen in Cross, although they get the chance for redirect, as you as a lawyer know?
Yeah, well, as you've been discussing, and it's right behind us, and we've got our reporters inside and a bunch of us out here, and you're giving viewers exactly what we're learning paragraph by paragraph. So it's pretty fascinating. And I think what we're seeing today, this is another tough day for the defendant because, as you just described in that question, Andrea, what they're doing is laying out a lane. If you think of lane one as a highway, and Michael Cohen has been down that highway all the way into prison, and that's not in doubt, they're now trying to lay down this other road next to it and say, here, all these things connect. And so these are the same things. The instruction is only, in fairness to the defendant, this is the new trial. You can't just, of course, incorporate the other crime automatically. The judge is instructing the jury. You have to listen to everything and decide that. But that second lane, as I'm talking about it, is them trying to keep it very simple. Everything Michael Cohen did was at the direction and for the benefit of this person. This person is today's defendant. He went along with it. He knew it, again, allegedly, according to this testimony. And thus, you can go down that road and find the same thing, a guilty verdict. So that's what we're hearing. As you reminded us, Andrea, we're going to have to cover the cross just as closely to see whether doubt is added in the jury's mind to this testimony. But I would say yesterday and today were two of the worst days for Donald Trump, both because of the overwhelming corroborated evidence that Michael Cohen's sharing. Much of what he's saying, as we've told people, is in the receipts. And then second, they're giving, I think, a reasonable, I'm not going to say bulletproof, but a pretty reasonable story to the jury of, yes, I loved my boss, daddy, employer. I looked up to him. I idolized him. Then over a course of very stressful events, including what Cohen perceived as the disloyalty and disrespect and mistreatment by boss, he then had a falling out. I think that's a story people can follow. I don't think this is the first time these jurors are hearing about situations, personal or professional, employer or otherwise, where something that started one way sours. So they've given a very clear explanation, but on cross, we're going to see a lot of attacks on that.
And one thing that they might pick up on, and how might the jury also react to, one of the things he testified to today was that he made a misleading, he claimed it was a misleading statement to the FEC, that the Trump Organization was not party to the deal, didn't pay the money, the hush money. And he said, well, it wasn't a lie, it was misleading. Is that the kind of cute sort of fixer language that would not sit well with the jury?
I don't think it was the best moment, but I think it was their way of trying to explain how they got that statement. Again, I think it goes to the narrative of explaining, well, was he in loyal mode or had they had the falling out? And they're sort of charting that. So I didn't think it was a giant problem, but they're obviously trying to show over time how Michael Cohen's stories did change. And that statement was fundamentally misleading in that it was designed to leave people with the impression that there was no Trump money here. And in fact, according to the receipts, so we have the actual Trump checks signed by Donald Trump admitted into evidence, there was Trump money. And so, yes, I think you raise a good point that for many jurors, they don't want to hear we got the checks on the screen. They don't want to hear about how something was technically accurate from a star witness, but actually misleading. But again, I think what's more important, or at least how I interpret what the DA is doing, is they're asking questions to give an explanation to Michael Cohen's evolution. And the key thing they need is not to say he was always truthful, he wasn't, but to try to show the jury he has landed in a truthful place. And now, under oath, he's telling the truth. That's their argument.